I've never noticed that before. Let me check that it's going on YouTube. Yeah, hello. I just completely forgot. I got no better explanation than that. I completely forgot to do this last night, and all I can really say is that it also seemed like I wasn't even sure that yesterday was Saturday. It was one of those kinds of days. Friday also didn't feel like Friday, so yeah, just screw it up. It happens. There. I'm just trying to think if there's anything more I can say other than sorry. But I mean, fortunately, no one actually watches these. Well, at least not live, so hopefully being delayed isn't an issue for anyone that decides to watch this after the fact. Anyway, there. Things are good. I don't think I've got other, like, bookkeeping kind of stuff, because that's what I was just doing. I have a database where I keep track of all the episodes in production order or aired order. They're both here. The title, the rank that I've been giving it. But also I keep a link, the typically the YouTube link, so I just need to make sure I grab that. Oh, hang on, what's this? Why do I have a notification? Ah, okay. A little bit of an aside. I don't know why. I feel like at one point YouTube would send me emails, not necessarily on this account, but that I would get emails when they were comments. I haven't gotten one for months or years even at this point. I'm not even sure. And it's just very annoying because, like, I don't always check YouTube. And it's not even just it's a YouTube notification. No, because if you're on YouTube Studio, it doesn't tell you something like that. You have to be looking at a regular YouTube page, and then you got the notification telling you, hey, you have a comment. It's like, it wasn't a comment in this case, but still, it's like, YouTube is not good at communication. All right, so Albatross, the 18th episode overall, 18th episode produced overall, second episode produced for season 2, but fourth one to air. And actually, hang on, let me. So this is IMDb trivia. For it. The title Albatross is most likely referring to the metaphorical usage of the word albatross that has its origins in Samuel Taylor Coleridge's poem The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, where the albatross symbolizes a psychological burden that feels like a curse. In this, the animated series story says... Okay, no, don't need to get into that, because that is the actual, like, substance of the story. And I'm just there, making sure I got the right thing up. So yeah, there's a lot of things that this should have gotten like another pass to the editing of the story, or it should have. This could have been a longer episode. I think is one way to put it, and would have addressed certain things. So the Enterprise is in the Dramia system, just one of the planets there, because they are delivering medical supplies there. And this is like not a proper member of the Federation, but that's fine. They're doing this medical outreach kind of stuff to, make friends and all that. So that's cool. That's good. But then it's like, yes, we'll be seeing you. Oh, yes, thank you very much. By the way, we have a warrant for the arrest of Dr. McCoy because he caused a plague that killed hundreds of people. It's like, what? Yes, let me see that. I assure you, it's perfectly legal. It's like even the Federation has approved of it, and I'm just like, wait, what? I can understand the whole. Apparently, Bones was there 19 years ago on a separate medical outreach, performing inoculations for the population of Dramia 2. And after he and his team left, a plague struck and wiped out the bulk of the population. So now they consider him to be the cause of it, so they want to try him, and there's some talk about Draymond justice is basically just kangaroo courts. They to a degree, that whole we have a punishment, we'll find a crime to fit it kind of thing. So Kirk is not happy, but the whole this has been approved of by the Federation, saying, hey, this is a legal warrant, you can't escape this. Which on the one hand, it's like, I understand that, because in theory, Kirk could be like, yeah, no, he's not under your jurisdiction, we're just going to go now. But if it is no, this is a Federation warrant as well, then say, well, no, he is bound to uphold it. But this still makes no sense, because why would that... I mean, then Kirk would have been notified. Because if it's a Federation warrant, it would go to him, and he's the one who would actually have to arrest Bones. And then it's also possible that the Federation would... No, what would make the most sense is the Federation would have Bones arrested. They would then either try him themselves for it, or they would at least have to have some sort of court hearing to extradite him to Dramia for them to prosecute him. And so it's just that whole saying... mechanically, they need to have it be a legitimate Federation warrant. Otherwise, Kirk could just leave with Bones. But there's then other mechanics there. There's other consequences there that are just... those are being ignored. Like the whole... why is Kirk being surprised by this? As already mentioned, Draymond Justice is known to be speedy to the Hangman's noose. So that is a bit of a problem. Okay, I already mentioned that mass inoculation program he took part in, and then plague hit. There was some curious properties of the plague. One is that it causes pigmentation changes. Vulcans are not impacted, so Spock ends up being fine. Because naturally it's going to end up hitting the ship. So you've got... They are first blue, then you turn green, then you turn red, and you die. Which... this is odd, especially that it would impact multiple species. But one thing that does annoy me a little bit, well, maybe not a little bit, is that we see Uhura being the same color blue as everyone else. It's like, Uhura's black. She should be a slightly different shade. In fact, technically all the people on board should be a slightly different shade from each other, unless they are very much the same exact skin tone. Because, I mean, it's either a pigmentation has been added to your body, which would then be it's blending together, so you expect different shades, or it is the pigmentation of your body is changing to these colors, which again, Uhura would look different because she has more melanin in her skin than the white people, because it's all we all have melanin, it's just different amounts. So it's also that's melanin is also what gives us our eye color and hair color. So for eye and hair, because I am brown eyed, I'm more melanin than somebody who is blue eyed, but clearly not that much melanin in my skin. Yeah, it's actually one of those funny things. There's very few pigments in the human body. There's melanin. I'm trying to remember what it is that's in blood. Like that gives it the red color. I mean, true, it's the oxygenation also makes it red as opposed to blue, but it's still, there is a specific name for that pigment. I can't remember what it is. Anyhow. So Kirk is very nonplussed by this situation and decides, all right, it was Dramia 2 that this was hit by, that was hit by this plague. Let's go there and investigate, because the Draymans aren't going to do it. They just want to execute him. They don't want justice. And so he decides, all right, we're going to go there and investigate. We're out of subspace range from the Federation, so they can't tell us not to. This is on my own accord. We're doing this. All right, fine. He goes there, and one thing that does annoy me. They're in the star system. And they're at one planet, and they want to get to another planet. He's like, go to warp 6, because we got to get there fast. It's like... light speed from the sun to the Earth is about 8 minutes. From the Earth to Mars varies, but can be like 20 minutes, I think it is. Like on average, I think it comes out that, maybe half an hour. Which makes controlling the rovers kind of interesting. But it still is just the whole... light speed is actually still pretty fast within a star system. Warp 6 should be like orders of magnitude faster. This is not the appropriate speed to use. I mean, I can understand going to warp potentially. But impulse itself, because impulse typically is, at maximum impulse, is 1/2 the speed of light. And that actually makes some sense because typically, it's rule of thumbish, but typically relativistic speeds are faster, are 1/2 the speed of light and faster. I feel like at one point I did see that the Intrepid class, which is Voyager, actually had a peak impulse speed of like 0.6. Like I feel like somewhere I've seen that there was a Star Trek ship where full impulse was actually 0.6 speed of light instead of 0.5. But regardless, it still is that would be fast enough. And if you needed to go there faster, you like just warp 1 or like 1.1, something like that, just a little bit above light speed. Warp 6, you'd be outside. You'd be on the other side of the planet before you could even hit the brake, kind of thing. It's yeah. Scale. I've said it before. I'll say it again and again and again. Scale is something that a lot of science fiction gets wrong. It just is. It might be because of a lack of background, or it might be because it's hard to really have a sense of scale for even just the Earth. Like, the Earth is very large. Plenty of things a lot bigger, yes. But it's still, the Earth is very large, and it's very easy for people to forget that. And I guess one way to put it is this, that gets into a topic that I don't really want to dive too much into, but the whole, like how somebody may insult another person to call them stupid by calling them flat earthers, and it's like, no. I mean, for one thing, we've known the Earth is round since ancient days. I mean, it's like they even did calculations. Ancient Greeks did calculations to figure out the circumference of the Earth. But still, it's for most people, their normal everyday lives, the Earth is effectively flat. Because on that scale, you don't really do anything that sees the curvature of the Earth. I mean, today, yeah, sure, we have the ability to go much further, so now it becomes relevant. But for a long time, it wasn't. And I suspect that it is, even though today we have some people that they will fly, and so can actually get up high enough and see the curvature of the Earth, things like that, it still is we're not paying attention. Some people, we don't pay attention and don't realize how large the planet really is. Hang on. Just a moment. Yeah, I just need to answer a text. I'm just going to mute. All right. It'll probably ding again, but with a reply. But yeah, so the scale thing, and it still annoys me whenever I see scale being wrong, even though I know I have to accept it's going to be wrong, because most people get it wrong. I don't doubt. I try to be careful with it. I try to be conscious of the scale of things, but I'm still probably going to get it wrong. I try. I'm still going to fail. I accept that. And there's a lot of people that don't try, and it's still, that's what kind of annoys me. I know most people don't try, but it still kind of annoys me. Okay, that's right. So he's basically doing this on his own, decides to head out. And the Draymans are aware of that, because he actually said, I'm going to go to Dramia 2 and investigate this. And when one guy who they've gotten to know through their current mission, or the mission that just ended, he tells the leader that they're going to do this, like, stop them, kind of thing. It's like, do something to interdict them. And so Kirk is, as they're traveling there, they pick up the ship approaching behind them, and Kirk is just like, don't hail them. Why not? Because if they're going to attack us, they need to contact us. If we don't contact them, then it's, we didn't know you were there. So he's basically building plausible deniability for ignoring them. It's like, did he? Because the records, as far as communication between them, would just show that they there was no communication if something happens. He's forcing the Drayman to be provocative, essentially. But he also does something else, which is having the shuttle bay doors open, so that way the guy can basically just board the ship illegally, which comes into play, which also reminds me, one of the other episodes, one of the prior episodes, it wasn't Ben. I don't think it was Ben. Maybe it was. No, because I was only beaming. There was one where we saw the shuttle bay opening, and it actually showed it opening just like that. But that's not right. It doesn't open from just one side on the Enterprise. Well, on the Constitution class, it goes like this. It's two doors opening, not just one. This they did show was two doors. So anyway, he opens that up. He's setting a trap. The Drayman will land the ship in the shuttle bay and then board the ship. And it's like, well then, hey, capture you. I mean, it's like you put that away. You can say he pulls out a gun, but it's like, yeah, put it away. It's an entire ship. What are you gonna do? And it's like, hey, you can't do this. We don't want you to do this. You have to contact the Federation. He's like, well, we're out of range of contacting the Federation. He's like, well, then I'll get on my ship and I'll go to a starbase and contact them and have them take care of this. And he's like, but your ship's impounded. What do you mean? You're a stowaway. We're impounding your ship. So I do like the intelligence that Kirk is showing here. But I do have this problem that at this point, this doesn't just seem like Draymans want rapid, just trying to justify their killing people kind of justice. It doesn't seem like that. This seems like it's a cover-up. This very much seems an active cover-up. That's never the payoff, though. That is not the payoff. It seems to just be no, we just decided that he's to blame, so we're going to do this, and we're doing all this stuff, and it's just to try to interfere so that we can just kill him. And it's like, why don't you make it where there's a conspiracy? Because that would make sense as well with that kind of rapid justice. That would make sense. But now what's happening? Not what ends up happening. One thing that, I mean, it's obviously Bones didn't do it. We all know that. So it's just figuring out, okay, how are they going to discover this and show it, demonstrate it? As they're going, they pass by an aurora in space, which, no, that would not be a thing, because auroras are created by the interaction of like solar flares and such, so charged a plasma from the sun hitting the magnetic fields of a planet and interacting with the atmosphere. In just space, you don't really have the magnetic fields or the atmosphere floating around to cause this. I can understand as far as it being just a light show in space, that, yeah, okay, that's fair. But it's still an aurora, a specific physical event that would not just happen in free space. But they see it and it's like, oh yeah, obviously that's the cause. Okay, keep going. I mean, it's just one of those Chekhov's gun kind of things where it's like, if it's there, there's a reason for it. So they arrive at the planet, beam down, including with the Drayman, whose name I don't remember. It's not like it matters too much. And he is continuing to be kind of aggressive as far as, like, well, Bones did this. He's guilty of this, and now it's like all these charges on you and all that. But beams down. They do see somebody on the planet, because the planet is ravaged. Because apparently it's hey, a bunch of people died here. Let's not do anything to actually recover this planet. Let's not do any of that. One dude they spot there, and Drayman even like pulls out a gun ready to shoot him, and it's like, which again, I'm thinking, oh, this is a conspiracy. He's gonna come up with some reason to kill this guy so that they can't. It's like, because it would make sense. They came up with the plague and accidentally killed their own people and just want to blame it on Bones. It could even have been and maybe a regime change kind of happened that maybe 19 years ago, it was still part of this medical outreach. That was hey, we don't actually want ties with the Federation, so we're going to do something to poison that. Fashion a plague and blame it on them. So, anyway, they chase after the guy. They find him, eventually, and he's also gone and hidden in caves. So apparently what survivors, they're not technically not survivors, it's weird, are in caves now, which again is this must be an environmental thing because if it's a plague, you'd expect it to still reside on the planet. And when you visit there, you're going to be exposed to it. But if they're surviving for 19 years in a cave, still on the planet, clearly it's got to be something environmental that the cave is blocking, like the aurora. It is then explained that actually, no, there are no survivors, they're all dead. The people living on Dremia 2 have been abandoned there by Dremian people. are those who were away and returned to find the people all dead. Except it turns out there was one person there who is still alive after 19 years, who remembers the whole thing and explains the whole, color changing from blue to green to red. But he survived because the plague came after Bones had left, but shortly after. Just part of the reason why it kind of seems like, yes, the inoculation may have been the cause. But before Bones had left, he had encountered this one Drayman and actually treated him. I don't remember the name of the name of the disease that he had, but treated him for that, and that he was now unaffected. So yeah, it was something about that gave him this protection, and he was like, Bones is a friend essentially, and he protects life, he saves lives. He would never take them. So yes, I will come to the trial. I will speak on his behalf to. No, he did not do this. So okay, we have a witness now. Beam up. It still seems like the one Drayman commander who came with them is not happy about this, but whatever. They all beam up. And as they're heading back, now they pass directly through the Aurora. And it's like, they're showing us the ship in the Aurora. Obviously, it's the Aurora causing this. They pass through it. And now people, starting with the survivor, he starts turning blue. Now, and shortly thereafter, everyone starts turning blue, including Kirk. Spock is the only one unimpacted, which... Spock not being impacted could just be that his species is immune, naturally immune. They could also technically be the degree of... his blood is different. Like, he is the green blood because it's based on something else. So the pigment, I was mentioning the pigments before, his blood has a green pigment different from humans. So if the pigmentation is related to the disease, it's technically not. I'll get to that. That could explain why he would be immune. But soon the entire ship is sick, except for him. He's the only one fine because he's just immune to it. We then learn what General Order 6 is, because they've arrived at the planet. The ship is under general quarantine, and General Order 6 is that if in 24 hours the whole crew has died, the ship self-destructs to prevent it from going anywhere. On the one hand, yes, that should succeed in wiping it out. But there's that part of me that's like, yeah, but if you're still in orbit around a planet, there might be some salvage or something there that maybe a little bit of the disease would survive. I mean, it's almost wouldn't it be better just, hey, there's a star there, let's just run into that. I think that would do a better job of making sure it's gone, but anyway, yeah, stars are good waste disposal, especially medical waste. Anyhow, so being there, Spock wants to have Bones temporarily released, because he's in custody, so that he can beam up and treat the plague. But the head of the Draymans refuses, in part because he's suspicious. But it's the whole, can I talk to this eyewitness you claim to have? No, he's sick. Can I talk to the commander who boarded your ship illegally? Can we talk to him? No, he's sick too. Yeah, this is obvious that this is just a ploy of yours to try to get your doctor back and you're just going to leave, so not happening. So Spock, he just beams down and is going to abduct, jailbreak Bones. Which, one thing he does say, that because he's immune, it's like he won't be bringing the plague down with him. It's like, technically, that's not true. He can most certainly still bring it with him. He could be a Typhoid Mary. Nothing wrong with that being a possibility. But he does beam down and Bones is initially like, no, I'm not leaving. What are you talking about? Why would I leave? I want to be judged. If I did this, if I did cause that plague, I should be judged. And if not, well, then I'll be found not guilty. Except it's already been set up that the Draymans don't really have a not guilty system. It's like, no, you're just guilty when you enter into the court. But once Spock finally is able to get a word in to say that, no, we have the plague aboard, we need your help, then Bones is like, why didn't you say so? Come on, let's go. It's like, you wouldn't let me talk. But gets up there. Bones is struggling to figure it out. Spock is trying to help because he's searching through the computer bank to find any records of such a disease. But is failing to. He's not finding anything. Which I find annoying because I'm pretty sure earlier in the episode, Spock was aware, like, when they had found records of it in the system already, or in the Drayman system, I guess, maybe. But it's like they had already found some stuff there, and now it's like, nope, there's no record. It's like, wait, you were already looking at computer. Maybe was it they were looking into the Drayman systems? But still, why wouldn't you then try to pull that information? I don't know. But anyway, while talking about that, I don't remember exactly how it got brought up, but Kirk pointed out about the Aurora. I just don't remember if it was he just brought it up on his own, or if something was mentioned that then brought it up. So then Bones, something clicks, tells Spock, run the search again, but ignoring the pigmentation change. Now Spock found something. It's like, okay, good. Because the explanation is that the pigmentation change is actually coming from the Aurora itself. That has somehow like mutated it slightly to produce that change. But so the underlying illness itself, the underlying plague itself, is out there. That is something encountered before. It's like, cool. Is there a cure for it? No. How you got a plague from something outside the ship passing inside the ship, I don't know. Because if it were a radiation coming in, okay. But this is being described as an actual disease. So we got problems there as well. But then it's still the whole, well, wait a minute, that guy survived. What did you do for him? Oh, yeah, I treated him for this disease that, he had. And it's like, oh, well, it must be the antibodies from that carry some degree of protection. Cool. This works. This is fine. This makes sense. So, Doctor, do you have a supply of these on board? It's like, of course I do. And he starts inoculating. People are turning back to their correct colors, indicating that they have been healed. And then it's basically the end of the episode. I mean, there is some more, but it's just like, once it's done, it's like, okay, skip over everything now. We're just back on the Dramia homeworld, and it's like, yeah, so thank you, Bones, for curing this. Hey, don't forget Spock. He also helped. All right, cool, and we'll forget about the whole, you breaking out of jail. And it's like, okay, and we'll forget the whole, that guy stowing away. And it just, I do not like the ending. Because it just felt so like, oh yeah, climax is done, just... You build up to the climax, but once you hit it, you should trail off like that. But this was like, nope, we hit that, immediately drop down flat. And that, we do get some nice back and forth because, Spock is making fun of Bones. Trying to say he's not being good, he's not being ship's doctor very, very well. He's not performing his duties very well, and this takes off Bones, and it's like, yeah, okay, I like this. I like this back and forth. The back and forth between them tends to be good anyway. Because it is fun. It is fun. Yeah, so I have some more to say, but I'll give the recommendation first. I gave it a weak recommendation. And the reason why is because while I did enjoy it, it's the Drayman culture with the whole rapid justice, that is that is presented as though it is significant within the episode. So, hey, this matters. This is what they do. Okay, but we never really spend that much time getting to know the people, getting to know the culture. It's like they're just doing things there. They are antagonistic, but we don't have any understanding to their antagonism. We don't have any understanding to their motivation. So it's like, is it a conspiracy? Apparently not, because it's never brought up. They never continue with trying to protect the conspiracy theory. The origin, it's the Aurora. Okay, sure. That's kind of hand-wavy, but yeah, I can accept that, but it still is if it's a conspiracy theory that is going on here, then it's like, okay, then that's not the explanation, but it just, it really felt like, hey, you need to explore out the Drayman behavior, the Drayman motivation, or don't talk about it like you do. I mean, just, it could be that they're not interested in the rapid justice. It might just be it's like this has been a thing for years, for almost 2 decades, that they want to punish him. In which case, then it makes little sense that he arrived on the planet, was able to do this stuff, and then they delivered the warrant. They would have delivered it up front. It's like, there are ways that it would make more sense other than, oh yeah, and just, here's a warrant. which seems far more like it's this was never a thing they actually cared about. But now that they've gotten some medical attention in general for other things, if people start remembering about the plague, hey, we got to blame it on somebody because we actually did that. We don't want anyone. See, the conspiracy theory makes sense, but that's not what they do. So it just, that is the main thing that really weakens it. And I can see how that can be fixed, but it was still overall. I did enjoy it. I think that the story itself, the mainline story, that motivation stuff, you separate that out. The mainline story is actually pretty fine. Hang on. Sorry about that. Just sometimes have to, like, if this were an actual recording instead of a stream, would have been able to pause. Could not do it this time. Anyway, but and it's nearly at the end anyhow. Well, it is at the end. I can stop any time. At this point, yeah. But yeah, it's largely the issues I have with the story are largely just the Draymans are like, okay, why are they doing what they're doing? No explanation, and it's or it is multiple explanations here. It could just be that no, they don't have a sense of justice at all. That's why they do the rapid justice stuff. It could be that, or it is conspiracy. But conspiracy is kind of put forward as this is the explanation, this is what makes sense. But then all the wrap-up stuff is, no, they just do rapid justice, which itself doesn't really make sense, doesn't really align. And it's like, if it's rapid justice so they can just execute people, why do they care if the Enterprise goes to investigate? It's irrelevant to them. Because that evidence is either something they already interpreted themselves. It's like they're not going to accept new evidence that would free him anyway. Or that is going to happen. Or it's like, oh, that can happen. It's like, that's fine, cool. Because to them, then, justice is fair. Justice is just. But they're just very rapid with it, and so that they don't take their time with stuff like we do. Say, okay, you can still work with that, but no, we don't work with that either. It's just there, and it's very annoying. Crap. There was a thought that entered my mind concerning that, but gone now. Oh well. So yeah, next week will actually be the first episode. Third produced for season 2, but first one to air. The Pirates of Orion. That has potential. All right, and hopefully I will remember to do it at the right time. Oh wow, it now says that there's 2 people watching on YouTube. 3 people total. Which I honestly have never figured out. It's like, why does Rumble always says that there's 1 person watching on Rumble, and it's like, who? I can't figure out if it's counting the preview that I have here in Rumble. I don't know. But still, it's gonna end this shortly and see you again next week, I guess. Is there anything else to mention? But not, yeah, I mean, it's an okay episode. It's a weak recommendation. That is where it belongs. Yep. Oh. While watching it, one thing did occur to me that I will mention. I feel like there was a TNG episode that did something similar with this. I don't quite remember, but I feel like it was somewhere else. Like this kind of story was used somewhere else. Oh, I guess I can also mention this as well, that there is a piece of trivia for the episode that part of the canon, alleged canon, I don't like this canon, is that Bones joined Starfleet after, well, in his middle age, and after he'd been divorced. I'll be honest, I've never liked this claim that he was divorced. It just, when I was doing the film novelizations, it kind of came up because, like in Star Trek V, he's hanging out with Kirk and Spock instead of spending time with his daughter and granddaughter. And it's like, and his granddaughter was fairly new at this point still. It's like, no, this is a man who has like a full photo album in his wallet of his granddaughter and is always going to pull that out every opportunity to share with anyone, okay? Like in Star Trek VI, he'd be showing it to the Klingons, okay? That's that kind of character Bones should have. Which is why I never liked the idea of him being divorced and having this family. It's like, he would be a dedicated family man. And there was no way you could go the 3-year series, the 3-year for the original series, and then the 6 movies without it being present. So I've never liked that. But it says that, he was here as a member of Starfleet 19 years ago? That doesn't line up with the timeline. It's like, well, I think that the timeline that people are saying it doesn't line up with is lousy anyway. So I don't really care. I mean, it is also a little funny that he's technically the only one. Him and Sulu are the only ones that have families, to our knowledge, of the main crew. Kirk was given a family in Wrath of Khan, but that got eliminated in Search for Spock. Spock, it's only kind of a fan thing that he may have had a child with Saavik because of Search for Spock. Uhura is never known to have families. Sulu, in Generations, has a daughter. Chekhov, we never know about having a family. Scotty, we never know about having a family. Just trying to think who else. Chapel, we never know about. And it's just, yeah. Of all those, it's like Bones is the one that I think it's the hardest to believe. Like Scotty, I could even believe. It's like that he could have a family that just stays back on Earth. But that would be anytime they arrive at Earth, I would see him immediately beam down. Unless the ship needs him, nope, he's off with his family. Just that would be the character I would see there for him, and just, yeah. All right. Yeah, so see you next time for the Pirates of Orion.